And so we knew going into this match, close match, both of them were highly ranked. Neither one of them seen each other. They had a few common opponents. So, it was we knew going into that match it was going to be a tight match. And Jacob stepped up. He stepped up to the plate, hit a home run, pinned the kid. That was huge, setting the tone there for the lower weights and stuff. And then, of course, Gavin, we figured that would probably happen. And we figured probably Matthew would happen as well. And then when it started getting to, Josh, that kid is a tough kid too. They're kind of equal right there as well together. And it came down to that last wire right there, just to slip up. And it was just one of those things. It wasn't his fault or anything else. And it just was a momentary lapse of slipping up. That's all it really kind of was at that point. But again, we knew that those two were going to be, it was going to be a 3-3 either way. It was going to be a tight match. And then really, the two that made the differences in the match, in my opinion, that really set us over the bar as far as deciding the match was 138, Sean Underwood. They had to have a pin right there. And all he had to do was fight off the pin, and he did his job. And as a senior, sometimes he's not in the starting position or whatever like that. He stepped up to the plate big time, not giving them a pin, and they knew desperately when they didn't get that pin, they had to pull everything they had out at that point just to get pins pretty much all the way through. And then on the 45 match, the kid that Franklin wrestled was the #1 kid ranked in the state. That kid was, and probably on paper looking at it, kid probably should beat, if not pin, Franklin. So he's probably on paper should be, there's 6 points right there. But we knew Franklin, the way he was peaking and the way he's been wrestling this last bit of season here, he's peaking at the right time. His head's right, his motion's right. That's one thing about that kid. He could be down, 14-1. You don't ever count him out because he will fight tooth and nail all the way to the very last second. As soon as you let your guard up like that kid did, bam.
Yeah, and you saw he hit a near pin, and then the other guy almost pinned him. And how does he do that last flip?
Again, it was just one of those things, momentum. That was really, it's just momentum. It was a turn, pause, and momentum. Catch right there. You're fighting, and all of a sudden he lacks up a little bit of position out, as far as posting out and that kind of stuff. And then he gets that momentum kick through, rolls him back through. It's all about, that kind of angle and angle and position at that point. As far as catching that momentum or stopping that momentum, and it was. But again, the key thing right there was he had that fight all the way to the end, and like I said, you never count him out when it comes to him fighting all the way through the end. That's why I knew pairing him up with that kid felt like was a better matchup because he would give him a dogfight all the way to the end, and he did.
How's it feel to be going back to Saturday night for you guys?
It's like a reunion. It's a great feeling again because we knew our road was the hard road to travel. We knew Alcoa was going to be a tough matchup for us if we didn't, keep all of our ducks in a row. We knew that we knew with Hickson here, it was going to be a tough match, as you can see as well. Like I said, we knew our road was going to be a well-earned road to the finals if we get there, and it has been. And like I said, the great thing about these kids is they are stepping up to occasions, and they have stepped up to these occasions where it's just awesome to watch them peak at the right time and kind of live out their dream and hope that they've been talking about since this time last year when they had that heartbreak in the finals last year. So now the great thing is, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to definitely set our plans and try and win the thing tomorrow, but this at least gives us another opportunity for a rematch with Greenville in the finals. And so, at this point, may the best team win.